Let's get to the final piece of his sound where he says, look, let's be real. Where did this all end?
We now have proposals from the presumptive Republican nominee for President of the United States to bar all Muslims from emigrating to America. We hear language that singles out immigrants and suggests entire religious communities are complicit in violence. Where does this stop? The Orlando killer, one of the San Bernardino killers, the Fort Hood killer, they were all U.S. citizens. Are we going to start treating all Muslim Americans differently? Are we going to start subjecting them to special surveillance? Are we going to start discriminating against them because of their faith? We've heard these suggestions during the course of this campaign. Do Republican officials actually agree with this? Because that's not the America we want. It doesn't reflect our democratic ideals. It won't make us more safe, it will make us less safe, fueling ISIL's notion that the West hates Muslims, making young Muslims in this country and around the world feel like no matter what they do, they're going to be under suspicion and under attack. It makes Muslim Americans feel like their government is betraying them. It betrays the very values America stands for. We've gone through moments in our history before when we acted out of fear, and we came to regret it. We've seen our government mistreat our fellow citizens. And it has been a shameful part of our history. This is a country founded on basic freedoms, including freedom of religion. We don't have religious tests here. Our founders, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights are clear about that. And if we ever abandon those values, we would not only make it a lot easier to radicalize people here and around the world, but we would have betrayed the very things we are trying to protect. The pluralism and the openness, our rule of law, our civil liberties, the very things that make this country great, the very things that make us exceptional. And then the terrorists would have won. And we cannot let that happen. I will not let that happen.
Yeah, he's exactly right. And by the way, I just, before someone comes out with some disingenuous argument, has President Obama ever said that, or have I ever said, or anybody who's made these obvious points, have we ever said that it's anything other than, I'll say this stronger than President Obama says it. He doesn't say that. He doesn't not say this because of political correctness. He says this because of geopolitics. But the way Saudi Arabia treats women is anything other than gender apartheid. The way human rights abuses carried out in the name of Islamic governments, of Muslim governments, is anything other than horrific human rights abuses, whether it's in Iran or Kuwait or anywhere else. Has anybody ever said that this means that if you're someone who is choosing to raise, your family in an incredibly literalistic and fundamentalist way, that you can't send your daughter to school and be a resident of the United States or Europe? Of course not. Multiculturalism goes both ways in that regard. But the reality is that the vast majority of Muslims do not subscribe to these beliefs. They subscribe to a wide variety of beliefs and behaviors. And jumping on this bandwagon is innately wrong, immoral. It's intellectually shallow at best, incoherent, stupid, and belligerent at worst. And three, it profoundly undermines our security.
Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.